Welcome back in, everyone. So June is Men's Health Month, and it's important for men, of course, to keep up with their physical health, as it is for all of us, but also mental health. And when it comes to men and mental health, we just don't talk about that enough. So here we have owner of Healing Steps Family Therapy, Steven Stepanovich. I was going to try it, but I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to go there. You already told me once, but that's a fun one to say. Stepanovich. Okay.
You got it.
So we were just talking about this, and I think really what this boils down to is men are supposed to be macho and not really show. I mean, I just feel like we've kind of been conditioned in our society to look at men as macho. Don't cry about it. Get up. You're fine. Get over it. Not really show the emotion.
Yeah,
right?
that's still I would say that's definitely still very much the stigma, although I think that has changed, in the last maybe 10, 20 years. We've gotten more in touch with our feelings, but we're still very much, get up, rub some dirt on it, get back in there type of mentality, and, don't talk about feelings and emotions.
So what kind of an effect does that have on, let's say, you have that mentality towards, like, let's say little boys growing up, get over it, you're fine, boys don't cry. Don't be a crybaby.
Right.
And then what happens to them when they grow up? I mean, does that have negative effects later on?
I think it can, probably down the road, but, I think today we're dealing more with like isolation. We're dealing with, the video games, the social media, the phones, too much Fortnite, stuff like that, which is great. I definitely talk to my, clients and say, hey, Fortnite's great. It's great to have your friends online, but let's get outside and do some, walking outside and going to the park.
Interacting with people, with real human beings,
absolutely.
Instead of living in this virtual reality.
Yes,
right?
yes. And we want them to have their social network of their friends and be able to have that. But it's nice to interact.
So what else do we see when it comes to men? I was reading here, so we talked about teenage boys addicted to video games. Men tend to be more stubborn than women. Do you think that is an effect of kind of that stigma?
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to sharing their feelings?
It's because it's like I'm going to look like I'm weak. I'm opening myself up and expressing my feelings and emotions, and men just... we have a difficult time doing that sometimes.
I know. I'm married to a man, and let me tell you, sometimes this has been one of our biggest things is the communication, because sometimes he just doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And of course, you know how women are. We want to talk about everything forever.
Of course.
Never let it go. Okay, so what else do you see when it comes to men, and how can we change this?
What else do I see with men? I see... I don't know. Men, more isolation, I think, is what we see a lot more of.
So how do we change this?
How do we change this? It sounds simple, but it's, bring the conversation to the table. Talk to somebody. Like, even if you got to just get out. You've got to, you've got to take a step outside of that box and just go for it. You got to open up. You got to talk. You
got to find an outlet too. So I was reading here, taking care of mental health. Take a walk or work out. That's always great. Spend more time with your kids. Talk to somebody. There are men's groups that you can join. Family therapists to kind of help you get it out there. Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. So important to talk about, and hopefully we'll be able to break that stigma.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's do it.